Welcome.
You are watching Line Screw 1. Well, hello tubers. Welcome to balmy and warm Canada. I'm not even wearing gloves. That's how warm it is. It's got to be like 1 Celsius, maybe 34 Fahrenheit. It's toasty warm. Well, we made it through our cold stretch where we are kissing minus 20 the odd night, and a lot of my fellow campers in the region here were freezing up. A few young people, their first winter, they discovered their water line runs underneath the floor, froze up solid. It's the thing about preparing for the winter. You got to know your rig. There are so many designs, there are so many kinds of RVs out there. And I know a few of the people I talked to, they said, like, why are you spending $4 a gallon to flush windshield wiper antifreeze down your toilet? I'll tell you why I've been doing that. Because when it finally got above zero and I pulled the handle, the valve moved and I flushed. And I didn't have any problems. Yeah, you know, you gotta take precautions. If you don't, you're done, bud. So the funny thing is, everybody's got their own little way of doing things when it comes to surviving the winter in an RV in a cold climate like Canada. And a lot of people, they're confident, but they're not prepared. That's the funny thing. You can talk a good talk and you can say you're ready, but if you haven't delivered the goods, you're freezing up. Hence, you know, 20-30% of the RVs around here had some form of problems. Even me, my problem that I had when it first dipped was because I figured, it's not going to be quite that cold tonight. The next night's going to be colder, and I didn't crack the cupboards. My bad. I knew I should have. It was just a matter of laziness. I absolutely knew what I was getting into, absolutely knew what I thought I should do, but I didn't do it. Just a small, afterthought thinking, it's kind of on the cusp. We're only going to -6 that night, so don't need to worry about it. But I learned a lesson, so over the next few nights, we're probably only going to maybe touch -5 or 6, which compared to the last week, this is like great weather. This is like motorcycle weather. I should take the cover off the motorcycle and go for a burn. Of course, the roads are quite slushy now, but anyway, I had no problems once I opened all the hatches and forced an air in. So what you got to do is you got to have those forced air ceramic fans going with fan heaters, forced air heaters, pushing the air through the cabinets where the water lines are. If you do that, you're not going to have any problems. If the air temperature in the coldest region of your RV is above 0 Celsius or 32 Fahrenheit, none of your water lines are going to freeze, unless, of course, you got one of those crazy designs where your water lines run outside. Now, the craziest people didn't even invest in one of these heated water lines. I don't know how they can actually justify not buying one, because without one of those, your water lines are going to freeze solid. And so many people's water lines did. It's a good investment. Even make one. But you got to have a heated water line or you're done. About my only major concern was taking off to go too far during the day for shopping, because I didn't want to risk the dog knocking over a heater, or maybe the power going out, or something weird happening. When you got space heaters going all over the place in weird locations, probably not a good idea to leave that unattended for very long. So, just pointing that out. Anything can happen in terms of Murphy's Law. If it's possible, it could happen. And if it happens to you, it's going to be a bitch. So we're still in the midst of winter. I mean, heck, we're only in early January. So I still anticipate a few stretches where it's going to be pretty cold. Generally by the 3rd, 4th week of February, things are looking better around here. So the key is to get through those stretches of 7, 8, or 9 days where your tanks can just hold on to the goo, and then you wait for the temperature to come up and you can pull the handle and out it goes. Because if you're just running regular sewerage and you're not running the windshield washer antifreeze fluid like I am, that whole tank's going to freeze solid. If every hour for the entire week. It never gets above zero, and you do not have heated tanks, it's gonna freeze. There's gonna be a sheet of ice this thick in the bottom of your tank, and it's gonna take days for that to melt. So either spend the money preparing or suffer. That's your only options, man. So I guess my lesson is, don't cheap out on the heat tape, don't cheap out on using antifreeze, don't cheap out on running the heat. You can run a lot of heat on 30 amps if you're strategic with it. Heck, I was quite warm all the time. There was times inside my RV it got close to 80 degrees. In fact, in my bathroom, when I was trying to melt that frozen line I had, it was over 51 Celsius. Do the conversion. That's freaking hot. Of course, that's the advantage of having a smaller RV. These people with these huge RVs and they're trying to heat the entire place on 30 amps, yeah, they're gonna have a hard time. They got a lot of cubic square feet to heat. So, I don't know, I'm kind of a minimalist. I think you should just own the RV that kind of suits what you need and not go overboard. Some people just want to have like a 800 square feet all the time, no matter where they're at. Well, good for you. But try heating that on 30 amp power all the time, especially in this cold weather. It's going to be a challenge, I'm telling you. Be confident, don't worry, but don't be cheap. Be prepared, have the equipment, the resources, and the knowledge. Know your RV, know the limitations, and you'll get through really cold weather RVing. Hey, if I can get down to minus 20 in my RV, you can too. Mine is not the best designed for this kind of weather either, but with a little bit of planning, a little bit of equipment, a little bit of effort, you too can survive cold weather RVing in the winter in Canada, just like me. Well, it's about 1 degree and the snow is melting, which means the roads are a mess. But what can you do? I figured, let's go get some guitars. Yeah, I'm in the mood for guitars. Well, this is my storage locker. I got all sorts of crap in here. But we're gonna need this. We're gonna need the Line 6. Let's put that on the cart. Okay, let's check out some of the guitars. Okay, let's show you this Norman. This is a Canadian-made guitar. It's made in Quebec. Let's get it out of here. Norman, made in Quebec. It's acoustic electric. Made in Canada. One of the few things made in Canada. And here we got a Stratocaster with, I believe this is, yeah, made in USA neck on there. It's a fun guitar, but I didn't come for this guitar either. Here's another fun one. You could only actually buy this in South Korea or Canada. This is an Ibanez S series. I think it's a 320. What makes it unique is the chameleon paint job, so it changes color. Can't really tell here, but it kind of rotates between orange, green, black, and copper. It's a really good metal guitar because the tremolo system, it stays nice and tuned. So this is kind of my metal guitar. It hasn't been doing any shredding in a long time. It's mint. Oh, I also got something interesting to show you while I'm here. I didn't come for this and I don't really need it, but this is the world's first cheap consumer sampling keyboard. The Casio SK1. There we go, sampling keyboard. Very basic keyboard, but you could actually make your samples through there or plug in a mic. And it was cheap to buy. I picked it up secondhand for next to nothing, but it's, I don't know, one day it's probably going to be a collectible. It still works, of course, but yeah, just back from the days when memory was expensive, so I think the sample on this thing could only be like a little over 1 second long. So, but that was just a interesting thing to have. Okay, this is actually the guitar I came for. It's kind of a good general purpose guitar. It's my favorite cheap guitar that I've ever owned. Which, Hagstrom, it's not one of the original Hagstroms. These are reissued and made in China. But it's a great, great guitar for what I paid for it. And it kind of has the action and feel of a Les Paul, Gibson Les Paul. So, needs to be cleaned. I haven't kept it in a bag, but, you know, honestly, my favorite cheap guitar I've ever owned. Really good. And good for just all-purpose jamming. So, this is a guitar I'm taking with me out of storage. And, of course, I've got to take the guitar stand. So, I've got a stand for it. I'll show you how it plays a little later. I'm going to clean it up a bit. Okay, let's get out of here.
I got you, I got you.